Star Wars Shadows of the Empire was an ambitious multimedia project launch from Lucasfilm in 1996. If you were a fan of Star Wars in the 90s, you couldn't have missed this project. Probably the most famous part of Shadows of the Empire was the video game, but there was also a novel, a 6-part comic series, and a toy line, along with a few other releases. But whether or not you were a Star Wars fan in the 90s, Shadows of the Empire was a lot of content to take in. So I'm here to give you a quick refresher on the story told in the Shadows of the Empire project launch, as well as to describe the differences between the various media forms as they tell this story. Hi everyone, I'm Nathan Emery, content creator here at Youtini, and I'll be your guide to the Shadows of the Empire multimedia project launch. I'm going to give you a basic overview of the story told through the Shadows of the Empire video game, novel, and comic series, but I won't spoil anything too major if you haven't read them yet. So there will be minor spoilers about the story, but nothing that will ruin the story for you if you want to read it yourself. So this fantastic content area actually started as a dinner conversation between Lou Aronica from Bantam Spectra and Lucy Autry Wilson from Lucas Books. Aronica basically suggested that Lucasfilm's various licensing agreements would make it easy to do a multimedia project launch, something really ambitious. And so work was begun on the era in 1994. Steve Perry, who authors the novel Shadows of the Empire, was the creator of the timeline for this era. It was basically conceived of as a Star Wars movie launch, but without the movie. So Shadows of the Empire takes place in 3.5 ABY between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. In the video game, we're introduced to Rebel ally Dash Rendar, admittedly a bit of a stand-in for Han Solo, who actually joins the team attempting to rescue Han Solo from Boba Fett after he's frozen in carbonite. Meanwhile, in these various adventures attempting to save Han, Luke learns of Prince Shizor, the leader of the Black Sun crime syndicate, who's attempting to take him down. So the piece of media from this era that takes place earliest chronologically is the video game Shadows of the Empire, in which you play as Dash Rendar. The game opens on the assault on Hoth in Empire Strikes Back, so you play as Dash, fighting the Imperials, attempting to gain transport off of Hoth. That's the first of 4 chapters in the game. The rest of the chapters are where the game lines up with the other media from the era. So the novel and comic series both open with Leia organizing a rescue mission to try to rescue Han from Boba Fett. The cool part is that the game, novel, and comic series all showcase different parts of this rescue mission. The novel focuses mostly on the overall story, on Leia's efforts to build this rescue team and the rescue team's efforts to save Han. The comic series, however, focuses more on the bounty hunter side of things, Boba Fett, along with his encounters with other bounty hunters like IG-88D, 4-LOM, and Zuckuss. Finally, in the game you play as Dash, and therefore you get to see the perspective of the rescue team that's actually trying to get Han back. The next part of the novel is Prince Shizor's mission to kill Luke Skywalker, even as Darth Vader is also hunting Luke Skywalker to try to turn him to the dark side. This is a big part of the novel, and it also shows up in the comic series and game as well. So in the novel, Prince Shizor captures Leia in an attempt to try to lure Luke to him. But in the game, we get to see this from Dash's perspective again. So in one part of the game, you're attempting to rescue Luke from an ambush attempt in Mos Eisley. And in another part of the game, you join along to attempt to rescue Leia from Prince Shizor's clutches. So I won't spoil how Shadows of the Empire ends. But of course, the tension between Prince Shizor trying to kill Luke and Darth Vader also trying to capture Luke is resolved, and the story kind of wraps up nicely to take us right into Return of the Jedi. Like any good Star Wars era, Shadows of the Empire launched a line of toys. So Kenner released a set of 5 figures in the Power of the Force line: Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, Dash Rendar, Prince Shizor, and Chewbacca, all in various disguises that we see in the game or in the rest of the Shadows of the Empire era. But those figures aren't all that were introduced. There were other toys as well, like Dash Rendar's Outrider ship, a line of Micro Machines toys, and even Halloween costumes. But I actually remember getting the Shadows of the Empire Swoop Trooper on a Swoop bike figure well before I even played the video game on Nintendo 64. But perhaps the most lasting part of Shadows of the Empire is the score, composed by Joe McNeely and recorded by the Royal Scottish National Orchestra. So Shadows of the Empire is a really intriguing era, and Youtini is actually doing a multimedia content launch to celebrate this era. partly because summers are a great time for crossover events, and partly to celebrate the War of the Bounty Hunters canon series that is taking place right now with its obvious similarities to the Shadows of the Empire era. So stay tuned to our YouTube channel as well as over at youtini.com for an episode of Legends Look Back, The Cosmic Force, Star Wars Archives, Game Nights, and 2 collections, all launching to celebrate Shadows of the Empire. And if you want to hop in on the discussion of the novel, the comics, the game, any of the content we're launching, or the new War of the Bounty Hunters crossover event, be sure to head on over to our vibrant and positive Discord community over at youtini.com/discord to join the conversation. Thanks for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.